Houston, and today we're going to sit down with Sabrina Cardone, the daughter of the renowned entrepreneurs Grant and Elena Cardone, to explore her unique journey and ambitious plans for the future. And despite her young age, Sabrina's entrepreneurial spirit and determination shine through as she shares today some insights in what it's like to grow up in the Cardone family and some invaluable lessons she's learned along the way. And let me just tell you, I got an opportunity to see Sabrina live in person at the 2023 Growth Conference. And wow, I mean, just impressive. And I'm going to tell you something. I know what I was like at her age. I was in a lot of trouble, messing up, getting in a bunch of stupid stuff. And this girl's got her head on her shoulders. So I'm just super excited to introduce Sabrina Cardone. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Trevor. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Okay. So the first thing that I wanted to really dive into, I got to see you do an interview on the Pete Vargas podcast with Grant. You and Grant had some back and forth, and it was really like the comments were just exploding. I was in the comments. It was awesome. One of the things that you did on that episode was you shared there was a game that you and Grant played together.
The debate game.
Yes, the debate game. I want to learn more about that because it was so good. And I'm going to tell you, I think you had him beat, actually. So talk to me.
I think I did too. I think everyone also agreed that I had him beat. But the game is basically this, because for a while I was really interested in, maybe one day going into politics. So the game was that me and my father, we would both have a side of an argument and we would have to debate that side. And I went to Oxford summer camp, which was very interesting. I don't really recommend it, but we also did debates in that, and that was the first time I kind of saw that. But me and my dad, what we would do is we would debate a subject, and we would have to, come up with all the points, and we would have to, if my dad brought up one point, I would have to debate that point. And it's a really fun game. It's really helped, I think, with just like mental capacity, being able to defend either side of an argument, whether or not you agree with it or not. And it also has helped, in our family, when there's either side of an argument, it helps you be able to see the side of an argument. Not that we get in arguments very often. It happens very, very, very seldomly. But, I mean, it's a very fun game. It helps me with communication. It helps me understand people. And it helps me be a better communicator.
Well, I thought it was super cool. Like, I want to like implement that in my business, with my business partner, because it helps you keep you sharp. Like you said, you were on point, like you were going back and forth. And I think it definitely helps you to sharpen your communication skills, and to talk about, like, I think you guys even, I don't know if you paper, rock, scissors your positions or what you did to choose your.
We just picked a side.
Just pick a side, right?
Just depending on the day.
And I think it's cool too, because you get to put yourself in a different perception too, because you may have picked the side that maybe isn't really how you feel.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, you can totally pick a side that, I mean, I remember my dad loves us being homeschooled. He's so happy with what homeschooling has done for me and my sister. But I think on the Pete Vargas show, he had the side of the argument, why shouldn't kids be homeschooled? And he argued that very well, even though that's not what he agreed with.
Yeah, I remember that. It was very, very interesting. And so let's talk about that for a second. Homeschooling. Okay. How do you feel about being homeschooled? I mean,
I personally love being homeschooled.
Okay.
I did go to normal school up until 3rd grade, but I absolutely hated it. And it was never that I wasn't good at school. I was good at the actual school, but all the kids were like crazy at the school that I went to. I went to a private school here in Miami, and it was a really good school, but the kids were very like morally not doing that great. And it was only 3rd grade, so I could only see it getting worse and worse and worse. And I've been homeschooled, so now I've been homeschooled for I think around 8 years. if I'm calculating that right. I'm 2 grades ahead. I'm a junior. I'm supposed to be like just now this summer graduating from freshman.
Wow.
Um, I mean, I've just really enjoyed it. It's helped both with me and my sister's communication skills. It's helped me be able to, on a Thursday afternoon, be able to be here with you, Trevor, and be on your podcast. So I have time to do things that I believe are really important. And I'm still getting tremendous amounts of schoolwork done and getting them done at an accelerated pace to where, you know, in the next coming few years, I'll be able to start working and or go to university if I want to, which isn't really what I'm interested in. I'm interested in, coming into my dad's company, working with real estate. But
Yeah, that was a question I had for you, was if you planned on going to college, and if so, or and why or why not,
it's
so
not.
your plans is to work within the company.
That's my plan. I was interested in college for a little while. Like I said, I was interested in politics, so I was gonna maybe go to college for
Why
government, political
politics?
science, that kind of thing. Um, what was that?
I said, why politics? What was it about politics
I've
that?
I've always been so interested in politics. I think it's a cutthroat career choice, and I am very like vigilant. I like action. Politics is
Mm.
something where you can definitely get a lot of action. Um, and plus, who doesn't want to be president of the United States one day? Like, who doesn't? Sounds so fun. Um, and I mean, it was just something that I was interested in, and still is possibly something I would be interested in the future. Just depending on how my life goes. I'm only 15. I don't know everything that's going to happen in my life quite just yet. I don't even have like a fully concrete plan about my future, but I do have, an outline. And right now, what I want to do is do the real estate. My life goal, something that if I accomplish this, I think I would feel so fulfilled. I want to grow our real estate portfolio to $100 billion of assets under management. That's my life goal. I know it seems far out, but we can do it. We're already at 4. That's that's not too much more.
Oh my gosh, I just love it. Like the 10x mentality that you have. See, this is what I'm talking about. You've been right. Like I think of people as like plants, and you need the right nourishment, you need the right soil, the right sunlight, the right water. And like I feel like you've been getting all of that, from your father, and it's everything that they're building, and your mother, and just the
I
empire,
definitely
right? Being around these massive giant people,
yeah.
and right. And so like you're already like, yeah, I want to take this to $100 billion empire. The way you think, right? Your thoughts, it's incredible to me.
I mean, yeah, that is something I would really, really love to do. I would feel so proud. And then after that, maybe we can just, casually go into politics. But for now, real estate is really what I'm interested in.
Well, you got my vote. Okay, so you already have that in advance. Okay, you got my vote. On that note, since we're talking politics for just a second, I've heard a lot of people talk about Grant running for president, right? Or saying he should, right? I've heard that.
I think that
And I even asked your mom. I had your mom on this podcast, and I asked her about that. And I guess there's been some conversations about that. Have you talked to him about that before?
I definitely think that politics would be a great career for him. I think my dad being like even something not quite a president. I don't know if that would be real right now, but governor, Senate, Congress, something like that. Something a little bit more casual. I
Mm.
think that would be so much fun for him. And then obviously then he can run for the United States president. But I think realistically, I don't know. I know he does have interest in it, and I think it would be really, really interesting. And I think it would definitely be. I think it would be great for him. I think he would really enjoy it, and I think people would benefit a lot with him as a political candidate.
Absolutely. I agree with that. And I told Elena, I told your mom that I know the goal is 8 billion people, right? I've heard that goal talked about,
Yeah,
for 8 billion people to know, and to know the 10x brand, and to know Grant and the family and all of that, right? And I thought, you know what? Politics maybe is one way to hit that goal, right? If
it
you run for
definitely.
president, everybody's going to know who you are.
Yeah, everyone knows who president is, so
right? I didn't know who Vivek was until he ran, and then all of a sudden, boom, Vivek's everywhere. Like that guy
Yeah,
was
no, me either. I didn't know who he was either before you ran, but
right, and then he went viral. Like I mean, all over the place. I was like, wow. So, anyways, but enough of that. Let's talk about, because you are around again so many influential people, right? You've got to download, God knows how much wisdom, right? And being around at the 10x growth conferences and some of the massive people that Grant brings on the stage and things like that. Um, what do you think one of your most memorable encounters was with, at these conferences? What, like, who was that person that really stood out to you? And then what was the thing that you think you learned most from them?
um, I don't like the people we have at the Tennis Growth Conference. I don't know them. Like I've met them, I've had a few conversations with them, but I don't like. They're not people that are heavily influential to my life.
Mm,
Somebody more recently, obviously, okay, my dad is my number one inspiration for life, like what my life is going to look like. He's taught me so many invaluable skills. One of them being, just discipline, like getting your
mm,
discipline in and doing things when you don't want to, as opposed to, motivation and having the motivation to do something. Discipline is much more important. Um, Somebody that I really, really enjoyed talking to was Arnold Schwarzenegger.
oh, cool.
He was just like the kind of guy. He's very real. He's a real guy. Not a lot of those celebrity people are real people, and you can kind of tell. But he was really, he was down to earth. He had that cool accent. I don't even know where he's from. Um, he's from Austria. He had such a cool accent, and you could just tell he was a real person who liked real people,
Mm.
and I really liked that about him. So he was one of my favorite people that I met. But other than that, I mean, my dad, he's just taught me so many invaluable lessons. Um,
I
and
love that.
it's
Yeah,
great.
he's kind of like my hero too, by the way, just so you know. I'm gonna let you know this, okay? So um I started off my life on a rough patch, okay? I grew up in real extreme poverty, and um my father wasn't around in the beginning, and I got a lot of trouble. I was with my mom, and I was in and out of jail, Sabrina. But at your age, I was a screw up, like a big screw up, okay? And then I got into the auto industry, and that's where I was introduced to your father. I actually have this training right here. This was back from
Oh, that's
2000.
awesome.
Yeah, like I still have it because
That's so
this,
cool.
yeah, this thing right here, literally, I took his training, and I started to win these, right? So I went from like having no success, having just being a failure, in and out of jail, screw up, just messing my life up at your age. Seriously, I was your age when I was messing my life up. And then I got into the auto industry, and I found something to become obsessed with, right? And so he's kind of my hero too, because he's just made a massive impact in my life. So it's been awesome to watch you, and to watch, like, again, you're getting all these you're getting to spend that time with him, and get all of that knowledge and wisdom that he's accrued over the years. So, what do you think has been the biggest or number one thing? I heard that in the background. I got one. What do you think's been that number one thing that you've really downloaded from your father? I heard you say discipline earlier, but is there something that's like,
Discipline. Something else. I mean, there's just so many that it's hard to pick one. My dad is a really great father, which
mm,
not a lot of people really expect that because of how busy he is and all the time, but he always makes the time, which is that is a valuable lesson. Time is created. It isn't something that runs out. You can always make the time to do something. That's something that's very, very invaluable. If there's something you want to do enough, you can always make the time to do it. And
prioritizing?
yeah, you can prioritize it, but you can also get everything done and that done. I mean,
Mm,
time is like you can use it as a tool almost, and and get whatever you need to get done. I mean, it's kind of I mean, it's not relative. Obviously, there's 24 hours in a day, but time is able to be used, able to be manipulated for your purposes, and that's something that a lot of people don't understand. But when you can start using time that way, a lot of like your life is going to free up. That's something very valuable because my dad, he's very busy all the time, and yet still
Mm.
somehow makes the time to spend time with me and my sister. So time can be used. You can always make the time to do something. That's something very important I've learned from him.
I love that. What do you think for you? Because I see you and I watch you online and stuff like that, and I see how you act, and you're so poised and just um, so grounded. What keeps you grounded and not like it? I think it would be easy, growing up around a lot of wealth and money and things like that, to start to become maybe spoiled or act entitled, or you see it all. I mean, you just see that attitude around a lot of Americans right now. They're acting
Yeah,
entitled and all of that.
definitely.
What do you think it is that keeps you so grounded the way you are?
Well, okay, I think it's a lot of things. I think one of the things is that me and my sister both work, which
Mm,
helps balance out the fact that we do materialistically have a lot of things, but we both work, and so the exchange is kind of there. I mean, when we were young, we always had to earn what we were got given. We had this thing called a 20-star list, which every time we like did a chore, did something good, we would get a star, and then at the end of the star list, we would get like a little toy or something. And I mean, just those kind of things, just keeping in the exchange between yes, you have a lot of stuff, but yes, you also have to work. That has
mm.
always helped me and my sister stay grounded and not become spoiled because we've grown up with a lot of wealth, and that's true. And it is very easy, I think, to start taking it for granted.
Mm.
But I mean, it's also me and my sister are just not the kind of people I think to be that way. Like, just take things for granted. Just, enjoy that you have great things and that you have access to beautiful things and don't take advantage of that. You know,
Mm.
you have to, and you should work and you should exchange with your parents when they give you stuff.
Mm.
Me and my sister have been doing that for as long as I can remember. And I think that is the principal reason why we're not, bratty or spoiled or anything like that. Because I don't think that we are that way, and we're not.
You're
So,
definitely not. I've seen it. And so you're saying that part of it is, you said you had a star system or some kind of earning system where you've had to
we had
earn
a
it.
system when we were younger. We don't really do it so much anymore.
Hmm.
We just kind of grew out of it. But when we were younger, it was like a board and it had
Mm.
20 squares in it. And for every square, it was like one little activity. And you get to put like a little star in it when you did something good and then get like a little toy or something that you wanted at the end of it. And that was it was a good exchange system. Not a lot of people know about that. And it was really good. It was really good for me and my sister.
Yeah, it teaches you the value of earning. Work is one of the things that also saved my life, Sabrina. Going to work and finding something I was good at and earning, and that sense of accomplishment at the end of the day when you did something right. And I remember going to work with my father. Me and my father was a painter, right? And so I had just gotten, like, I was on probation and all this stuff, and I was forced to move with my father, actually. My father took me back in, and I go with him, and he puts me to work. And, I'm working hard on the job site, doing hard labor, and that sense of pride at the end of the day when you turn something ugly into something beautiful. It just, and then I started to save my money and all this kind of stuff. And so work was a big thing that saved my life. No one gave me anything. And I think I love that, the fact that it sounds like Grant is teaching you some similar lessons where, he's not just giving you, even though he could, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he could just give it to you, but he's making you earn it so that you have that sense of pride and that work ethic that goes along with it. And all those valuable lessons, I think, is amazing. So, um, yeah, so talk to me about that. What has been, since you've been working with Grant, right? I see the Cardone Capital shirt on you right now.
Always representing the brand.
There you go. I love that. Are you working with him today? Is that what you're doing
Yes,
today?
I am. I come in the office. I don't come in the office every day, but I come in the office very often. I come over here. I, obviously do my school because I have that as a priority. I really want to finish my school, but also I just help around the office. Do things that can help. and I'm just trying to get integrated into our office, into the community inside the office, so that when I come to work here in a year, when I finish school, um, I'll be in the workings of it, and I'll understand how everything works, and it will just be, smooth, nice transition.
What's a day in the life, right? A day in the life working, at Cardone Capital and working with your father. What does that look like?
A day
Like,
in the
paint that
life.
picture for me.
So I wake up. I drive now. I have my permit, so I drive my dad to work, and I'm very proud about it. I am actually a pretty good driver, despite what the rumors may say. I am a pretty good driver, and I drive to work. Well, I drive me and my dad to work, and I'll set him up in his office. I'll plug his computer into his PC so that he has everything set up, and it's like, you know what I'm talking about. It's connected. And then from there, I'll start doing my homework. If he needs anything, I'll help him with it. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the day. And then we go home, and we have a jet ski now. So we have a ton of fun on that jet ski after a long, tedious, hard day of work. And,
That's cool.
We play on the jet ski. It's really, really fun.
That is cool. That is cool. Okay, so on that note, you talk about the jet ski. What's been a memory, right? Because you've got to have some pretty amazing experience. You guys travel all over the world and do some amazing things.
Definitely.
And what's been one of those experiences that has stand out to you the most that you've got to have?
We have started doing like an annual yachting trip.
Mm.
And it sounds very, very like, wow, a yachting trip. It sounds very privileged, but I've had some of my best memories ever. We like rent a yacht in the south of Italy, south of France for about 2 weeks. I know I sound like it's hard to listen to.
Is it hard for people to relate? Like when you talk with, you know what I mean? Like when you're having conversations and you're like, yeah, I just got off this yacht. Da, 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 da. Like, is it hard for some people to?
It probably is, but I try not to obviously just like talk about that stuff randomly. You obviously asked, so
Yeah, sure.
That is one of my best memories. I think the first time when we ever did that, my sister was turning 11, I think, and we had her birthday there, and it was so much fun.
Yeah, that's
awesome. It was
awesome.
a great time, and it's some of the best memories because it's all of us as a family, and it's kind of like you can't leave the yacht, so you kind of have to be with your family, but it's really great, and it's been great for us. We're jet skiing on the ocean and swimming around, and me and my sister are like jumping off the boat and terrified a shark's gonna come get us. It's such a fun experience.
So would you say that one of the lessons that you're learning too is to, work hard and play hard?
For sure. I mean, we definitely play very, very hard, and we have a lot of fun. I mean, one of my best, like, back to the boat. One of my best experiences was I was reading a book and I just didn't go to sleep until around like 4:30 in the morning. And at 4:30, I was like, I'm kind of hungry, and so I left my bedroom and went out to the deck. There was a deck that we all hung out on, and my dad and our partner, Brandon Dawson,
Brandon, yep.
were playing backgammon. And I was like, oh my God, you guys are still awake? This is fantastic. I was so hungry. Oh my God, what are you guys doing up? And they were like, oh, we're just playing backgammon. And I was like, yes, this is perfect. I was so excited. Like, I was just so, like, I was obviously exhausted. I was exhausted, but we watched the sun come up and it was so wonderful. And then we all went to sleep finally. And that in particular was a great experience.
Yeah, that's awesome. I also know you had recently a clip that went pretty viral because you were talking about your plan to be a millionaire by age 20. And it went viral. Can you talk to me about that clip? First of all, for those that didn't see it, can you maybe set up what your plan is?
So my video was that I'm going to become a millionaire by the time that I'm 20, and here's how. And then obviously I went into how I work at my dad's business, and people started clipping the video, and they're like, oh, that'll do it. That'll do it. Yeah, you're going to work for your dad. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you sure are going to be a millionaire by 20. And, very like, they were just like joking around. I think we're all friends around here, except I don't think that they like me at all. But the plan was I'm going to become a millionaire by 20. I'm going to utilize the resources that I have been given. I've been lucky enough to be born into this position of, like, we do have money, we do have, privilege, and I can go ahead and take advantage of that and use it to create an awesome, beautiful, successful life for myself. And that was basically the gist of the plan. That was my plan. The clip went viral, I think, because people thought, like, yeah, okay, cool. But that was the plan. And I was just sharing it on social media. The point of the video was have a plan and take advantage of what you're given in your life. Because too many people have privilege that they're not even aware that they have. Ooh. And they don't take advantage of it. And if I was born into the position that I've been born into and didn't take advantage of it, that would be even worse. I don't even know what I would do at that point. I would not be able to live with myself. So, that was the point of the video.
I love what you're saying, because I'm gonna give you a mic drop for that. Okay, I'm gonna give you a mic drop, because what you're saying to me is, be grateful for the privileges that you have, right? And leverage those privileges. I think we all have privileges, whether you're white, black, whatever your ethnicity is, your background, whatever. Like, there's some form of advantage that you have if you look for it, right? Yeah, if you look for it, there's an advantage, and leveraging that advantage that you have
to create an amazing life for yourself. There's nothing wrong with that, and old people should do that.
Absolutely, 100%. And I think so. What happened was your video probably got a little bit of back and forth and debate going on, right, in the comment sections that helped it to trigger and go viral. So what were some of the, did you get some hate on that too? Were people like trolling a little bit?
I remember my friends kept sending me videos of people like making fun of me for that video, and I was like, oh my God, if I see one more video of myself saying, I'm Sabrina Cardone and I'm gonna be a millionaire by 20, and here's how, I'm going to, like, I don't even know what I'm gonna do at that point. I got so sick of it. So I called my dad and I was like, my dad, he gets so much hate online, and I was like, I finally know what it's like to be you now. I don't know what to do. How do I handle this? I'm being negatively affected by all this hate online. And he kind of just told me, hey, if I was you, here's what I would say. At least I have a plan. And so at least I have a plan, because those people who I would personally never take the time to write any kind, I don't really even comment on Instagram. But if I did, it would be positive, at least. I would never take the time to comment something negative. So those people who are commenting something negative, making negative videos, they don't have a plan for their life. I have a plan for my life. So, hey, at least I've got a plan.
Mic drop. Let's go. I agree with you. These are trolls, okay? And the trolls typically, you're right. They don't have a plan. And you've probably heard that saying, hurt people, right? So a lot of these people, again, they don't have a plan. Something about your video triggered them, and that's probably what it is because they're not where they want to be in life, and they have no idea how to get where they want to be in life. And here's you, and you're like, I got this plan, and I'm gonna do this, and you're gonna leverage the advantages that you have and to go be successful and all this, and they're jealous, right? It's just jealousy and haters, and I think your dad says we all need more haters.
Yeah, that video went viral, whether or not it was, hated on or not. So you can just look at it like, oh my God, so many people hated my video, or so many people saw my video. So many people know my face now. Haters are not the worst thing that ever happened to the planet. I can get over a hater. You can get over a hater.
Let's go.
Haters will not end anyone.
Yeah, it actually helps you to go more viral anyway. You need some debate going on in the comment section. The more of that debate you get, the more views it gets. So
exactly. And that video went viral. So where is my $10,000 bonus?
Ooh, let's go. Hold up. I heard about that. So there's a stack, okay, that you're going to get. All right. If we get a clip to go over how many views?
1 million.
1 million views. I heard Grant in the background. Grant said 1 million. All right. 1 million views. Okay. So we'll, and you get how much? 10,000?
I guess so. This is a new rule. I actually only learned about it from you, but I think this rule is fantastic. I think this rule is great. And if it's been happening, I'm gonna check. And I'll let you know. But if it's been happening without my knowledge, this
Oh,
is gonna be fantastic news to me. This is gonna be great.
you're gonna come collect. You're gonna be like, hey.
I'm gonna collect. I'm gonna be like, hey guys, you said that I get a $10,000 bonus. So where is my money?
So where's my money? Bring me my money.
Bring me my money.
Where's my money at, man? And okay, so let's say you get that bonus. What are you gonna do with that bonus?
Invest in real estate. That's what I always do with any of the money that I get throughout the year. I get paid. I always just invest it in my real estate fund, and I get paid a good amount from it every year. Or every month, I get around $400, and that's a ton of money for a 15-year-old to live off of. I mean, I don't have a car, so I don't pay gas or insurance, but I mean, like $400, I can buy some awesome stuff with $400. I never even really use it because there's just never really anything that I want. So I never really buy anything, but I mean, it's really I'm so thankful for what I have in real estate.
Yeah, I love that. So you're just gonna take that cash, pump it into some real estate,
Real estate.
and then that's gonna start to pay you some residual income, right?
That's gonna pay me every single month.
Love that. Okay, so let's talk about now. What do you think is one of the biggest skills that someone should know today in today's fast-paced moving world? We got AI, we got technology, we got social media, we got all these things going on. Somebody maybe that's in not in homeschooled, maybe doesn't have all the advantages and things like that. They're your age. What would you tell that person? Hey, this is the skill you need to learn today.
So I already did mention discipline. Discipline is so important. It's so important in school. It's so important at work. But I think even more important than that is knowing how to communicate with people. Because in this world, people are what is going to give you anything you want. And being able to communicate is so invaluable. Not many people can communicate. Not many people my age can communicate. But communication is, I think, the number one issue in today's society. You need to learn. You need to know how to communicate. It's invaluable.
Well, and it's also, if you think about it, you're right. You're absolutely right. I'm going to give you another mic drop for that because communication, it's how you get anything in life, right? Sales. I mean, what your dad talks about all the time is sales, and he does all these sales trainings, right? And all sales is communication to be able to get what you want in life. And, we use it in everyday life, right?
We use communication in everyday life, and you would be surprised by the amount of people who really don't communicate. Like, yes, they talk to people, but they don't really communicate. And it's just, you need to know how to be able to communicate.
Ooh, you know what you just made me think of, Sabrina, which was, today, everything is in text, right? Most communication is text message, comments, emails, right? It's right. And that's why it's easy for people to troll too, by the way. They troll your, in the comments because
those
they really
who are hating on my videos would never have said that to my face because it's weird. Why would you tell someone to their face like that you hate them and all this stuff? It's just like, okay.
So you
please back up.
So I think I think that, and maybe you could tell me if you think I'm right on this, but I would think that people's communication skills are actually going backwards, like as a whole, as a society. We're not getting necessarily better at communication. And you're being taught these lessons. I mean, you've got to speak on some massive stages. Your father staged 10X Growth Con. I mean, how many people, what was the biggest audience you spoke to?
The biggest audience I ever spoke to was 34,000 people when I was, I think, 9 or 10.
Oh, okay, tell me about that. Paint that picture for me. What was going through your head? How nervous were you?
Stadium. I remember I was a little bit younger than it was before I learned nervousness. It was before I learned how to be nervous. Okay. And so I remember I was just like, okay, cool. This is going to be great. And I went out there and I delivered my talk and everything went great. I went back behind the stage. We had sold out Miami Marlins Stadium, and we even put some chairs on it's a baseball stadium. We put chairs on the field So we had sold out Miami Marlins Stadium, and we had extra chairs in there. So it was incredible and it was beautiful. That was generally one of the most fun teenage press conferences we've ever done.
Wow. And so you said you haven't even learned nervousness yet. Now do you get nervous, and where do you think that came from?
I mean, I think nervousness is like, to be nervous, to be worried. It is a little bit learned,
Hmm.
not completely. I think it is, inherent survival skills to be nervous about something. I don't really get nervous anymore. I did used to get a little bit more nervous. I would just be like, "Ooh, I could mess up here. That would not be good. That would not be good. I could make a mistake." And then, at the end of the day, the only person who is actually going to care whether or not you make like a little mistake or something is you.
Mm.
And you know,
We're our own worst critic,
we
right?
are our worst. We are our own worst critic.
Mm.
And I I am hard on myself. Like, I always want to do the best that I can do. Even when I get like a B in school, like I'm like, oh, really? Like, that's not good. Let's get an A next time. But I mean, when you go out on a stage and you tell your truth to people and you say what you need to say and you say it well and eloquently, that's all that matters. As long as you get your message, I'm so sorry. As long as you get your message across and you deliver it the way you want it to have been delivered, and you communicate to people about what you wanted to have communicated and actually really communicate. I mean, that's what I call a great speech. So I was nervous before. I kind of realized the people in the audience don't want me to fail. Maybe people on social media do, but the people who bought tickets to see this conference, they don't want to watch me do badly. So, I mean, everyone's rooting for me. I'm rooting for me. My family's rooting for me. Everything's going to be fine.
100%. Like everybody, even if you did mess up or say something, whatever.
They wouldn't
Like
remember. They'll remember the greatest parts of my speech, not
it
the part where I like stumbled on a word.
it would probably be even better. I mean, because they're cheering you on, because when you push through that, right?
Yeah.
Like if you started to stumble and you push through it and they're like, oh, look at her overcoming,
Like, I
keep
could do
going,
that.
keep going, it's like, yeah, keep going, and yeah, everybody's celebrating you and cheering you on when you're on those stages. Like I remember again last year seeing you speak, and you were inspirational, and it was so impactful to see that. I don't know how many teenagers your age get to go do an experience like that. I mean, heck, I'm an adult. I've never had an experience like that, right? I'm just starting my stage speaking career, and so what an amazing accomplishment you already have,
It's
right?
been amazing. It's been so incredible for me, and I think it is part of the reason why I am the way that I am today. Being able to communicate to people on a large scale. Very few people get to have that opportunity, but I think it's crucial. It's important to be able to. It's such a leadership skill,
Yes.
and very few people get to develop that.
Well, it's also the number one fear in the world, right? It's public speaking,
Public
right?
speaking.
And it was mine too, Sabrina. So I actually have overcome like massive anxiety. Let me tell you a story. Massive anxiety with public speaking. There was a time. So when I was in middle school, they had this class called the pass class, and it was where basically kids that had disabilities and kids that had anger issues and were getting in a lot of trouble like me, they put them together in this class called the pass class. And so I didn't get to go with the other kids. I didn't get to go outside in these, in the other classes, but then they would let me go for lunch. And so I didn't know anyone. I felt like damaged goods. I felt like I was a misfit, and I felt like people were staring at me. I just felt these eyeballs on me, and it gave me anxiety and stress. And I would actually go eat my lunch in the restroom. I would take my lunch and go hide in the restroom.
Wow.
So fast forward, as an adult where I was being put in positions to speak in public, I had those exact same feelings of just like these eyeballs and judgment, and like I'm some kind of like freak or judgment or whatever. And I remember as an adult going and hiding out in the bathroom because I knew I was going to have to speak. A microphone was going to come my way. And so I was like, I need to go to the bathroom. And I would run and hide, Sabrina. I would run and hide. And now it was one of those things where I knew it was that obstacle I had to overcome. I just had to. What would you say to somebody like that who was like me, who was terrified and scared and just absolutely like shaken? Like I remember the first time I spoke, I had notes like this, just shaking them. What would you say to somebody like that to help them to overcome that fear?
I mean, I I think that speaking is something that's scary. There's a lot of people, and there's only one of you. But just getting out there, just doing it, and starting with maybe a group of like
Mm,
10 or 12 people, people that maybe you trust, and just starting to communicate to larger people. I think that could help. I mean, I've never been in a situation where I've never had extreme stage fright. I've
mm.
just always grown up with, you're gonna go on a stage and you're gonna say some things and then you're gonna get off. And I I really think that it is so common because people don't ever do it. People don't ever speak to large groups. But if you can get yourself in a position where you can speak and push through that fear, I think that's the way to do it. I think I don't think it's fun if you're that scared of speaking until you get good at it and until you realize that groups of people aren't going to hurt you.
Mm.
And then I think that you can, start to speak on stages and have fun with it.
I love what you just said there. They're not going to hurt you, right? I remember back when I was in the auto industry, and my sales manager would tell me, he would tell me what to go say to the customer, right? And some of the stuff he would tell me to do, I'm like, are you crazy? There's no way I would go tell that customer that. And he's like, what's the worst that can happen? What do you think? They're going to punch you in the face or something? And I'm like, I guess you're right. What's the worst that can happen? And
Yeah,
so, yeah, they're not going to hurt you when you go on
not
stage.
hurt you.
What's the worst that's going to happen?
Like they're
Like,
not going to laugh at your joke. That's the worst thing that can happen. And when that
right.
happens, I will say it's a little bit embarrassing, which is why I like bigger audiences. One
Mm,
person laughs, everyone starts laughing. In a smaller
mm,
audience, it's like less of a chance that somebody's gonna like laugh at your joke or respond well to something. So that's why I like better audiences. There's more people, and people kind of feed off of each other. So even if you get one person, you'll get multiple, and then eventually the whole audience will be enjoying your speech.
absolutely. I agree with that too. Some of the harder speeches I've given have been in smaller environments, and the energy can shift. One person in a small audience can shift the whole energy,
Yeah,
right? If you only have 12 people in the room, one person can shift it. In a bigger audience, like, I don't know, it is less intimidating, which is very, very interesting.
it is.
Um,
It's interesting.
yeah, it's interesting that 12 people would be more terrifying than,
I think I
10,000.
think part of it is because when it's 12 people, it's 12 people. When it's like a big
Mm,
group of people, it's one group of people.
mm,
You understand? It's like one when it becomes a larger group, it becomes an individual almost.
mm.
When it's a few individuals, there's a few individuals. So I think part of the reason is that.
Yeah, no, no, you're absolutely right. And like with a bigger audience, you can't even really see them almost. It's like, it's
Yeah,
just so big that there's not, you're right. It's not any one individual.
it's just
Okay.
a
Let's,
group.
let's talk about that then. In what have you learned from Grant and Elena about from your mom and dad? What have you learned about public speaking? What are they teaching you about public speaking when you get up there on stage? Are they coaching you specifically, or are you working with Pete Vargas and those guys, or like, talk to me about that experience?
I mean, me and my sister write all of our own speeches, but our dad helps us, like, fine tune them, figure out, where you could put something that could, make your speech better. So our dad helps us write our speeches, although me and my sister do 100% write them all. Um, and once it's kind of gotten to a point where me and my sister are happy, we just practice it, practice it in the mirror, read it over, practice how you can deliver it to the person. I mean, my parents have always been kind of more oriented on practical learning, hands on, real learning
Mm,
when you learn something. And I think that's really valuable for everyone of all ages, practical learning. It's too many people learn only theoretically.
mm,
Too many people learn only in textbooks, only, in pieces of writing. And I think going and doing something is so much different than what you'll read about it. So I mean, ever since we've been younger, I mean, I was still young, my sister's still young, but ever since we were, just little girls, we would go up and speak to people. I remember one time I was like 4 or 5, and I was like, no, I don't want to speak to them. I'm shy. And my dad was like, stop playing around. You're not shy. Go speak to them. And I was like, yeah, okay, okay, fine. I can't even say anything. Like, yeah, I guess I'm not shy. But it's just that practical learning is so important.
Yeah, you got to get your feet wet, right? So nothing teaches you how to swim like jumping in the pool or getting pushed in the pool, right?
Exactly. I mean,
Sink or
I
swim.
swim before I could walk. Fun fact.
Yeah.
Myself. So I mean, it's just get your feet wet and learn practically.
Absolutely. That was one of the things that helped me to overcome my fear of public speaking. Remember, I told you how big it was. And so the first thing I started to do was make these little videos driving around in my car. And I'd make these daily videos, and it just kind of got me in a habit of speaking like that. And then the second thing that I did was, started a podcast. I was like, okay, I have to overcome this.
How long have you had this podcast for?
6.5 years. I started it in January of 2018.
That's awesome. And you had my mom. Did you ever have my dad?
Yeah, I did back when he did Undercover Billionaire.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep, I interviewed him, and it was very, very cool. That was an amazing, amazing interview.
My dad's good at being interviewed.
It was memorable for sure.
That's awesome.
And I got to experience an interview and met your mom in person in Austin. We did the Not on Our Watch Texas event, which was an event to help awareness for the exploitation of child sex trafficking and child sex extortion and all that kind of craziness that happens.
Yeah.
And your mom was there, and she gave a keynote, which was fire. And I got to interview her there in Austin and spend a little bit of time with her. And very, very impactful mission. Matter of fact, I'm just going to do a follow-up question. From that event that your mom went to, were there any changes that happened when she got home in regards to like cell phone usage or social media? Or
me and my sister have always been very careful on social media and that kind of stuff. We've always also been, educated on some of the weirdness that can happen on the internet, that can happen, via cell phones. And I mean, we've always kind of been that way, where like we don't talk to people on the internet. We don't just don't. Okay, like you're not allowed to. Like if you do, you're gonna get your phone taken away. It's not okay. And so we didn't really have any changes after that event, but only because we've always had our devices regulated that way.
Yeah, you had some regulation and some rules. How important do you feel like rules and boundaries and structure is? Because
rules, okay, it's so important. I think that's another reason why me and Scarlett aren't spoiled and bratty and basically useless, because rules help make people. There needs to be barriers in life, and too many people want to be, they want their kids to like them too much, and it becomes perpetuation. And even, they're trying. Mic drop. It gets to that point where, in my own experience, in my own observation, if you're always perpetuating your kids, you have no rules, your kids won't like you. It's totally wrong thinking. You're setting your kids up, to have structure in their lives, and you're going to do this, and you're going to do this, and you're not going to do this.
You're so smart, Sabrina. You're so smart.
It's so important. Your kids will like you more. I like my parents. I love my parents so much. And we have rules and we have regulations. And, as long as it's not like, okay, why? Like, why? As long as it's not an arbitrary rule that's just random and weird, then I don't see how I would be opposed to following it. I mean, I understand, like, with the telephone. Like, obviously, I'm not gonna talk to random people on the internet. It's weird. It's weird
Yeah.
and dangerous. Like, I understand that. So as long as you explain it to your kids and you communicate and treat them like real people, because I think that's
Mm.
something that kids struggle with a lot. They feel like not like real people.
So I got to experience both sides of the train tracks. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, love both my mother and my father dearly. But when I was living with my mother, I didn't have any discipline. I didn't have any structure or rules. I got to do whatever I wanted to. And she treated me more like a friend. She just wanted me to be happy. And so I got to do whatever I wanted. And
Yeah, and
honestly, when
people.
I was young, I pushed boundaries because I would push. And listen, it got me in a lot of trouble, Sabrina. I got in a lot of mess, and I was forced by the court systems to move with my father. And when I got there, now I got discipline. Now I got structure. Now I have rules and guidelines and an opportunity too. My father would give me opportunities to work and to save and to do all of these things. And so I got some valuable lessons, and I got to see both sides of this thing. And you're absolutely right. Like we all need some guardrails because I think
People like
we,
boundaries,
yeah,
just something that, it makes people feel safe. Like, good people follow the laws, and we know that if bad people, they're not going to go follow the laws, then they're going to end up in jail. So when you personally have personal regulations on yourself, it makes you feel good to know that, like, you have a structure. This is how things are going to work, and let them work that way. And I think that's really important for people.
and I think that's one of the reasons why you said, I asked you about the skills and you said discipline. That was like one of the first things that came out of your mouth. And number two was like communication, but discipline, structure.
Discipline.
Talk to me about some of that discipline. Do you have like a morning routine and like talk to me about that? What does that look like for Sabrina Cardone?
Most of my discipline right now is centered towards schooling. I have a morning routine, like I shower and stuff, and like
Well, I'd hope so.
say it again.
I said, well, I'd hope so.
Yeah, exactly. But right now, you wake up, you do school. I run almost every day. I ran
Ah,
15
okay.
miles for my birthday, 15 for 15. So, I try to have, I don't exercise every day. Like, I'd say every other day, I'll go for a run or do something like that. But I think that, having a physical win, having a mental win, such as schooling, something like that, they're very important. And just, getting that kind of rhythm down it's really important.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a very structured morning routine.
What's
Um,
your morning routine?
well, I got it from my man Glenn Lundy. I'm sure you're familiar with him, right, Glenn?
Mhm.
Yeah, the morning five. It's no snooze button, no phone, right? Gratitude and goals, physical activity. Um, I get some prayer and worship in.
It's good.
Uh, I get a workout in, and I also do an ice bath. So all of these things just kind of like help get me
Ice
prepared.
baths are
So,
great for you. I love ice baths.
yeah,
It
they're
they're
amazing.
terrible in the moment, but they're so good for you.
Absolutely. Oh, they are terrible in the
They're
moment. Like,
terrible.
and they never get better either. Like you get in there and it's like it's awful every single time.
Yeah.
Uh, but it only lasts for like literally the first minute. So just pound through that first minute and then like breathe, and all of a sudden you kind of calm down and relax, and it actually feels good after about that first minute. But that first minute's awful every time.
It's true.
um yeah, actually I got to hear Gary Brecka speak as well, and started to get into some of that 10x health systems, and I took the genetics test, and I got the
I'm doing a
ice
lot of stuff
bath.
with 10x Health right now. Like, I just got my blood work done and stuff, and
Oh
I'm
yeah.
taking the vitamins and stuff. It's really great.
Yeah, absolutely. I just got my test back, and all of the
The
like
book.
the results and everything. And I will be honest, I don't. I guess I'm just a little confused because I get this spreadsheet with everything on it, and so now I really want to get. I would love to have Gary come on the show one day, maybe like dissect it with me, show me what I'm looking at here, so that I can go take the next step and get the supplements that I need and all that
See,
good
that's
stuff.
super great. We could get like another one of our awesome doctors or anything like that.
Yeah, that'd be super cool. I would love that. That'd be phenomenal. Um, and so, okay, you've got physical activity in your, you said physical, mental,
Physical
what else?
activity, have a mental win. I mean, right now it's like and work something that you don't really want to do. Although I do like working, I love the office environment. I love it. There's so many people who are on the same page as me, who are working toward the same goal. So I just try to get those in every day.
I love that. I love that. So earlier I asked you who was one of the most influential people that you've got to be around. Since we were on the topic of speakers,
Say it again.
who's since we were on the topic of speakers and speaking and public speaking and things like that, who's been the best speaker that you've seen, like that has just been like, wow.
Okay, my dad is great at speaking. If I'm biased, obviously it's my dad, but he's so
Yeah.
good at speaking. Somebody else who's actually really influenced me in my speaking and the way that I carry myself is actually Ivanka Trump.
Oh wow.
Yeah, she is. I watch like her interviews and stuff. She's so eloquent. She's so poised. She's so beautiful. I really like her. She's somebody that I think she's great. And I've never met her, but that would be awesome if I could one day. She's really cool.
Yeah, she is. So your mom actually, when I went to the GrowthCon 2023, um, they were a lot of phenomenal speakers. I mean, Tom Brady was there,
Oh
Mark
wow!
Wahlberg was there. I mean, it was just like heavy hitter after heavy hitter. But your mom like had me in tears. It was
My
so
mom is a
powerful.
fantastic speaker. She communicates the emotion.
Ugh,
She makes her speaking her art, and she's also
mm.
somebody who's really great at speaking.
That right there, what you just said, speaking her emotion. I was actually having a conversation the other day because I'm a big Tupac fan. Okay, I love Tupac's music and grew up on that music. And somebody asked me, "Why do you like him so much?" And I said, "It's because the passion you can feel. Like you don't just hear his words, you
You feel
feel
them.
his words,
And
right?"
any artist, any speaker, anyone who does any kind of work, and they do it to that degree where you can feel it, and
Mm,
you can feel the passion, you can feel the energy. Those are the people who are great people. I think, in my opinion, those are the people who are great in their fields. That's just when you speak, you have to communicate that emotion and that feeling and the passion behind it,
yeah, that passion, that soul,
the
right?
soul
Yep,
behind it,
yep.
the life behind it.
The life and the soul comes out of you and people can feel your soul. I think that's what it is. Like I remember I literally just got asked that question the other day and somebody was like, "Why do you like him so much?" And I was like, "You can feel his soul when he's rapping and stuff like that." And so like when you were talking about your mom, that to me, when I heard her speak, I could hers, like her soul was, you could feel it.
You can.
It was inspirational. It was like, wow, gave you goosebumps.
Yeah, no, she's an incredible speaker. She's also an incredible person.
Oh, absolutely.
No, I love
She's
my mom. She's so incredible. She's somebody I look up to so much. Especially as like one of the main female. She's my mom. She's one of the
mm,
main female influences in my life, and she's incredible.
absolutely. And so what would you say from her? So you said like with your dad, it's been discipline. From your mother, what's been that lesson that you think stands out for you that's had the most impact?
My mom's always taught me and my sister that we can do anything that we want to do and that we can achieve anything that we want to achieve. Um, we have that capacity. She's a great mom. She takes us to parks. Not so much currently anymore. We don't really go to parks, but when we were younger, she would take us to parks, and she was always there for us. And she's somebody like really stable in both me and my sister's life. We can always talk to my mom. Oh, you have a problem with something random. Let's go to
Mm,
mom. My dad's really good at handling situations with people.
mm,
Whenever I have a situation with a person, like, ooh, what do I do now? I always go to him. Whenever I have a situation more with life or something
mm.
personal, I'll go to my mom and be like, hey, what do I do now? And she's like, oh well, blah 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 blah. And my mom's just she's incredible. She's
Yeah.
always taught us we can go in and achieve whatever we whatever we want. She's always taught us the importance of, exchange. You get this, you need to do this for this. Um,
Yeah,
and
I heard when
she
I was interviewing your mom, it was like she was like the visionary,
she
right?
was
She's
such
got
a
this.
visionary. She has such big thinking. She has such amazing dreams.
Mhm.
And I mean, she's incredible.
Yeah, I told her, I gave her a little bit of a vision when we had our interview. Um, we were talking about, I said 10X Stadium. Said that's next. Like, you talk about real estate and everything, right? What about a stadium?
Say it again.
And
What's the word?
a stadium, like a football
A
stadium, like
stadium, 10
10X
stadium.
Stadium.
That's an
Imagine
awesome
that.
idea.
She was like, "Ooh, I like that 10X Stadium."
10 stadiums.
10X Stadium, heck yeah.
It'll become a
You
thing.
you could do your own conferences, right? Like, why rent the stadium when you can
You
just
just
own
own
the
the stadium.
stadium? Yeah,
That'd
yeah,
be great. Like a SoFi stadium, but 10X stadium.
10X Stadium,
That'd be
absolutely,
awesome.
right? Like,
We could
you
have
know,
football games in there and stuff.
yeah,
That'd be so cool.
absolutely, 100%. Imagine,
Concerts, and I would just be
yeah,
able to go to every concert. That would be so much fun.
yeah. I think about here in Texas where I'm at. I'm in Dallas, Texas, and we've got Jerry Jones. He's the big, he owns the Dallas Cowboys, and
Yeah.
he's got the AT&T Stadium, the Dallas Cowboys Stadium, and they do all kinds of events and stuff like that. Like right now, we've got the upcoming is the Tyson fight. Tyson and
I'm excited for that one.
yeah, right. All right, who do you have on that? Who do you have on that?
Oh, I hope Mike Tyson wins.
Yeah,
Like,
me too.
if he doesn't win, I don't even like. I don't
It
even
will
know
be
what I
sad, right?
It's gonna be really sad.
Like it will be devastating, and
It
I
will be
think
devastating for even for the whole world of fighting. I think I'm not a big fight person, but obviously,
sure.
I know is it Jake or Logan? Jake?
Uh, I think it's Logan.
I think
Logan Paul.
no, it's Jake.
Oh, Jake. I'm sorry. Yeah, Jake. Yeah.
Jake Paul. I mean, he's just he's a fighter, but he just does the bright, sparkly fights.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think Mike Tyson, he's like one of the greatest fighters in American history. I think it's going to be such a shame if Jake Paul wins. But
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Do you think it's fixed?
I hope not, but I don't think so. I don't
No.
think so. I'm friends with Mike Tyson's daughter, and
Oh, are you?
yeah, I am. I am. I don't think
Wow.
I don't think it is. I don't think she is. I don't think it is. And if it is, she didn't say anything about it to me. So,
Mm.
um,
Yeah, and I wouldn't see him. Like if it
agreeing,
was fixed, I couldn't see him.
agreeing to lose.
Correct.
Yeah.
I could see it going the other way.
Yeah. And also, I
Because
think Mike Tyson, it's like when he gets into the arena and he starts fighting, you can see it kind of switch for him. He's
Oh, yeah.
not going to lose that fight. So I think he'll win.
yeah, he's kind of an animal, right?
Yeah.
Like
He is.
that guy. Think about
He's
the
a wild
discipline.
guy. He's a wild guy.
Yeah. Have you met him?
I have met him. He was at one of our tennis growth conferences, actually.
Oh, no way. Seriously?
Yeah, he's awesome. He's a nice guy.
He seems super nice.
I like him. I mean, yeah, he's great.
Yeah. That's really cool. Yeah, I would love to meet him one of these days and just, shake his hand. He's just the fact that he's getting back in there doing it again. It's amazing. You see people like I remember Tom Brady, hearing Tom Brady at the 10X Growth Conference, and he was, I learned something from him because I thought he just had this wire to just win, to this just I gotta win. And what my biggest takeaway from him was it wasn't necessarily about winning, more so his driver was not letting people down.
Yeah,
Right?
he was a great guy. I really liked meeting Tom Brady. He was really sweet. He's like really tall. I didn't expect him to be that tall. But he's a nice guy. I really liked him.
Well, this has been an amazing
This has been so
episode. I got one more question for you though.
Okay, one more.
Okay. Growing up under some giants like your mom and your dad, does that put extra pressure? Do you feel extra pressure to be successful?
You would think that I would, but I don't really think like obviously there is the pressure there, like to be great. I want to be somebody who people remember and people. I want to take Cardinal Capital to $100 billion of assets under management. And I know that's going to be hard. And sometimes I do think about it like a little bit like, ooh, if I don't succeed in life, that's not going to be very good. But you kind of just have to think like, I am going to succeed in life. Like it's going to happen. I will make sure that it happens. And I mean, it puts a little bit of extra pressure, but nothing like unmanageable. I don't think so. I've never experienced any other life, so I wouldn't really know. But I mean, I think it definitely puts a little bit of extra pressure, but nothing unhandleable, nothing that's bad. I mean, having a little pressure on you is good. Pressure makes diamonds.
There you go. That's what I was looking for. Pressure creates diamonds.
And so, yeah, definitely no negative pressure.
Yeah, we need some pressure. Everybody needs a little pressure.
Everybody needs a little pressure.
Everybody needs a little pressure. If you don't have any pressure, you're just comfortable and relaxed.
Yeah, and being comfortable, I think, is one of the worst things that you can be.
It's a killer, right? It's like it just kind of destroys you a little bit, you know. You get too laxed and you get too chill, and you know, no, pressure's a good thing.
And then all of a sudden you go bankrupt. You know, you can't get too lax.
Well, again, Sabrina, this has been amazing. What's next for you? I want to know what's next for Sabrina Cardone. What's a big goal you have, a big vision you have, besides the, what is it, 100 million or 100 billion? I'm sorry.
Besides that, just, you know, finishing school,
okay,
to the office, getting a solid post and coming into work every day. I want to get that down. You know, just, it doesn't even matter really what the post is. I want to get integrated into our community and, you know, become respected in the community, in our community, our work community. And, I mean, that's my goal. That's what I want to do. So
love that. I was going to ask you this question. I forgot. There was another one I was going to ask you, which was about LinkedIn. Okay. So I was looking up LinkedIn. I think you're old enough to be on the platform now. Any thoughts on getting on LinkedIn to grow your presence there? And I know you're on, I think, TikTok and some others, but
I've never really thought about it. But I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to getting on LinkedIn. I mean, I haven't formed an opinion on it yet, but I probably will at some point. So
check it out. I think you would go super viral. I think you need to be on LinkedIn. I think you'll go super viral. Like, okay, you will stand out, and it's the number one professional network. Yeah. So anyways, I think you should. I think you will go viral over there too.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sabrina, this has been an absolute pleasure. You are awesome. You inspire me. Again, I think about the difference between like where I was at your age, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so brilliant. So thank you so much. This has been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me on your show. I really enjoyed it. You're a great interviewer.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Well, guys, that's the show. It's all about who you know. Bye.